particular one-day match in Christchurch. Many expected it to go down to the wire. Indians were expected to bounce back strongly, but that didn't happen. This particular match having no result, and Rain once again playing spoil sport. 6 matches there on this New Zealand tour, 4 being affected by rain, and clearly not much to talk other than some performances that we have seen in ifs and buts from the Indian team. I am Anil Thomas. To take you through the next 30 minutes is my co-anchor Damini.
Thank you, Anil. Thank you. And we have two experts with us here. Rakesh Rao, welcome.
Thank you so much.
And we have Gursharan Singh. आपका भी स्वागत है.
Thank you.
Rakesh, when one looks at positives from this particular tour that we have,
Yeah.
what could be the big plus or big minus from this tour?
You're talking about the entire tour, that
Entire
means the including the T20s. Yeah, first of all, what I would go by is the fact that Surya's continued form in the shortest format. That's what we saw, the way he won us that match the other day. Secondly, I'm a little concerned about our bowling, especially in the T20. I mean, especially in the ODIs. As we saw in the last game, we got smashed for more than 200 runs without a wicket, in exchange. Today also, it's been a very ordinary kind of spell. And this is what I've been maintaining for a long time, that we need to now start looking at reality in its face. What happens is that we are still, fooling ourselves by saying that, no, our attack is not all that bad because Bumrah is not there or so-and-so. Okay, there is no Bumrah, a lot of these bowlers are not around here. But even if you look at the full stock, what we did in T20 in the past and what we did here is the bowling department that really, it's one area where we really need to look in. Batsmen overall make do with it, even if you have a slow start, you are still giving the bowlers a lot to bowl at. That is, if we bat first. So for me, the takeaways haven't been much. But yes, I want to see Umran Malik, of course, those 2 wickets fine, but overall he's pretty expensive and pretty ordinary when it comes to the international standard. He's still not ready for it. So
गुरशरण, जैसे हम लोगों ने देखा 6 में से 4 मैच बारिश के कारण हम लोग नहीं देख पाए. अच्छा मैच हम लोग नहीं देख पाए. आज भी शुरुआत अच्छी करी न्यूजीलैंड ने और हो सकता है कि आज वो जीत ही जाते. तो ये किस्मत का साथ कहूँ या क्या रहा?
किस्मत का साथ नहीं, मतलब अच्छी क्रिकेट और हम खेल सकते थे, बट मुझे लगता है कि इसमें काफ़ी पॉजिटिव भी जरूर हुए. ये पूरी यंग ब्रिगेड थी हमारी, सिर्फ सूर्य कुमार यादव को छोड़ के बाकी सब मुझे लग रहा है 28 या 29 नीचे वाले कम एज वाले प्लेयर्स हैं. और जो पॉजिटिव्स की बात हो रही है, ठीक है, हम ये वनडे वाली सीरीज़ हारे, लेकिन पहले मैच में हमने 326 रन भी बनाए, बट उसके बाद बॉलर्स ने इतना अच्छा नहीं किया जिससे कि वो न्यूजीलैंड बहुत ही आराम से वो मैच जीत गई. और ये जो मेरे हिसाब से जो 3-4 प्लेयर्स है बहुत अच्छा जिन्होंने किया. मोहम्मद सिराज, मुझे लगता है मोहम्मद सिराज को तो तीनों के तीनों फॉर्मेट अब खिलाने ही चाहिए. जैसी वो बॉलिंग चाहे T20 हो चाहे वनडे में, टेस्ट में तो अच्छा कर ही रहे हैं. और वाशिंगटन सुंदर ने अच्छा किया, जो भी मौका मिला, जितना भी मौका मिला उनको. तो ऐसा नहीं होता कि उमरान मलिक भी है, जैसे अच्छा वो तेज़ डालते हैं, धीरे धीरे इंप्रूव हो जाएंगे. जब पहले 2 ओवर अच्छे नहीं डाले, उसके बाद देखिए जब विलियमसन बैटिंग है उसको भी बीट किया उन्होंने. हमें प्लेयर को कॉन्फिडेंस दिलाना है, उसको बैक करना है कि जैसे जैसे खेलता है वो बेटर प्लेयर बनेगा.
Well, our phone lines are open. The numbers are 011 234 210 and 85. You can call, ask your questions with regards to the series to our experts in the studios, and they will be waiting eagerly for your phone calls. Rakesh, when one looks at Shubman Gill and Shreyas Iyer, 2 positives from the one-day series, purely in terms of batting.
Yeah.
How would you look at them? They, in the scheme of things for the 2023 World Cup, almost cementing their place, or would you say still ifs and
certainly,
buts?
Shreyas definitely yes, because we have seen him that except that 20 over format, the other two he's really there in the face. So Shreyas I've always admired because his game is quite well rounded. And the Shubman Gill, for instance, he'll have to break into that space where it is already occupied by some of the more experienced, more illustrious players. So he still has to do some work, provided he gets opportunities. But the way he has conducted himself here, at least in that one innings, he looked great. Today he was shaky, scratchy, but it's okay. He's still young. He needs to be encouraged. But Shreyas, definitely, yes, I think he is quite good.
Well, the player of the series, Tom Latham. Let's listen.
You must still think back to that only a few days ago and think what a wonderful occasion and a great innings too.
Yeah, it was obviously a nice evening for obviously the whole group, but personally as well. So, I guess you look at times like that and, I guess you can reflect nicely. And obviously it's a bit of a shame that we didn't get any play in the last two games. But, I thought overall we've played some great cricket this series and I guess nice to get the series win.
Someone hasn't paid the power bill here at the Richard Hadley Sports Centre because the lights have gone out, but we'll get that sorted out. It's quite nice. We've all been kept in the dark a little bit in this series anyway with the weather and the constant threat of weather. There we go. That's better, Tom. We can see your face now. Look, how did the team feel about wanting to get on with the job today? Because it looked like you put yourselves in a pretty good position.
Yeah, I thought we bowled fantastically well this morning. I think obviously winning the toss, there was a little bit of assistance off the wicket and I thought the guys just had a great length and managed to get a little bit out of the surface and obviously restricting them to about 220 was obviously a great effort on our behalf and I guess the way Finn and Devon went out and played off, they absorbed a little bit of pressure at the start and then managed to put them under a bit of pressure at the back end of the power play. And I think the way Finn played probably uncharacteristic in terms of the way he usually goes about things, but I thought he absorbed a lot of pressure and played beautifully. And obviously it was a great start from those two.
You get a great view of things when you're keeping, and that pitch was not without its demons, was it?
Yeah, obviously it was moving around a little bit, and I think sometimes when we hit the right lengths where we can certainly get enough out of the wicket, and I certainly think all bowlers did that today, and even Daryl Mitchell coming on and doing a roll into the wind, and Milne as well I thought did a fantastic job. So it's obviously nice when the wicket does off a little bit and our guys can get a little bit off the surface.
Seems there's a great spirit too between these two sides. I know that the weather hasn't cooperated, but you seem to get on very, very well. Has that been the case for the whole tour?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, I've come in for the one-day part, but I think a lot of the guys have played, especially IPL together. So I think the banter between the guys is great. So I think the more we play with each other around the world, I think those friendships just build, and I think you've probably seen that tonight.
Surya Kumar turning up to field in a beanie. We don't see that very often. It's a Cantab, Tom. Did you look upon that with a little bit of a giggle?
It wasn't that cold, was it? No. Obviously it's not too cold for me, but obviously from where they're from, it's certainly a lot colder for them.
Well, there's been plenty of rain, but again, that 145 not out. You are the Sens player of the series, and Ravi Shastri is here to present you with a cheque from Sens and a trophy to mark the occasion. Tom Latham, congratulations. Thanks, Tom. Thank you, Ravi. Sugar, unfortunate again. You guys must be looking forward to seeing some sunshine now.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to go to Bangladesh and hopefully the weather going to be better over there.
Big challenges ahead for this team. What have you guys learned? I know there's not enough cricket really to get too much information and certainly the information that you wanted on this tour. But has the team learned certain things about some of the personnel and what you want to try and do when you're playing your cricket?
Yep, absolutely. I feel that we got a young unit, and for sure, like if I talk about bowling, they must have learned that to bowl in a bit more good length area. I feel that we bowl a bit on a shorter side, where else they have to get a bit more consistency of bowling a bit more up and using the bounce more. And they're young, so that's how they're gonna learn from these experiences. And even in batting, like taking the partnership more deep. Wickets were a bit like seaming at start, but that's you expect when you come to New Zealand, and especially when it's overcast all the time. So you expect that's gonna come on your way.
Shikhar, do you feel now that the real build-up to the World Cup begins back in now to Bangladesh, where pitches will be a lot more similar to what you can expect in India for the tournament? Is this a case now of saying, all right, let's get on to full World Cup mode?
Yep, absolutely. In Bangladesh, all the seniors players going to be back in the side, and there it's going to be totally different side. So I'm sure from there, because it's going to be happening in India, so more Asian wickets going to be more practical towards journey towards World Cup. Yes.
What do you say as a leader to the younger players in the team? Maybe some of the guys who will now be returning to India won't be taking part in the Bangladesh series. What do you say to them in terms of keeping their motivation levels high?
Yeah, tell them that it is important to pick up the detailings. Like every inch matters, right? So if you're talking to bowling unit, to understand that okay, where to pitch, where you have to be consistent more, which length you have to bowl consistently. So those things. Simple but quite effective, and they're young, so of course they're learning to handle pressure as well. If suppose they're not able to bowl, or if they got for boundaries but still coming back more quickly, so all those stuff even for the batting unit as well. Yeah, so these stuff like on a seaming wicket, really playing close to your body, or coming up with plan B, so still rotating the strike and putting the pressure back to the bowlers. Yeah.
A case in some ways of just carrying on doing the homework. But one thing it must have felt like sometimes being at home. So many of your fans here to watch you have turned up throughout the series, both the T20 series and this series. What would your message be to the fans who have turned up in some pretty terrible conditions for you?
Yeah, we feel very, very grateful, and they're always backing us, and it feels really good that they're always appreciating our effort, and because of them we get the stardom, so we're very really grateful and happy, and sure we have been doing well, and we're gonna make them more happy.
It's always a pleasure to have you on our shores. Thank you so much, and on behalf of all New Zealanders, sorry about our summer, but it does get better, we promise, so make sure you come back. Thank you, sir. Kane Williamson joins us now. Kane, congratulations. It is a series win, and interesting, a strange series, but a series win nonetheless. And I know that that's important to this team, isn't it?
You know, when we've been playing cricket, it's been going reasonably well, and the team have applied themselves nicely. And obviously, the first game was a really good one, and obviously became series defining. However, you know, even in the two rained-off matches, there was some really good stuff as well. So. A little bit odd to have so much rain throughout this little period, but you know, we'll just keep looking at the cricket and keep trying to take steps forward.
Were you keen to stay out there just a little bit longer today to get to that 20 over mark?
Yeah. We knew obviously that 20 overs would constitute a match, and you could see the weather coming. So one of those things, isn't it? Sort of been following us around a bit for the last couple of weeks.
You made the decision to bowl Daryl Mitchell today. It turned out to be a very good decision. His career best figures in one-day international cricket. What was the concept behind that, the thinking behind using Mitchell today the way you did?
Yeah, I just felt like the seamers were getting a bit out of the surface, and Daryl's been hanging out for a bowl for ages, so we thought, you know, now would be the time to bring him into the game, and he did a fantastic job into the wind, and obviously Adam Milne as well, a bit of a niggle there that he felt, and you know, wanted to keep going, didn't want to stop, and obviously get stiff, so we were trying to get the most out of him, and he was outstanding in picking 3 wickets for us. So I thought the bowling attack did a superb job out there.
You know, you've created a rod for your own back now, because Glenn Phillips is going to beg you for a bowl next time. He's seen you let Daryl Mitchell off the hook, and he's got to give him a chance. Yeah, the team moves on now, Kane. It happens pretty quickly. Pakistan looms large. What sort of shape do you think the team is in terms of the style of cricket you want to play? Is it business as usual for this side at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, the focus changes to the test arena, and I think first things first, the guys will have a little bit of a break, which I think's pretty well deserved. The schedule's been pretty busy, so that's the next step, and then join up as a test outfit, which will be nice. You know, it is nice changing the formats, and there's a bit of freshness to that, some new faces. So and they'll be excited at that opportunity over there. It's always a tough challenge, but you know, as a test team coming back together and having a bit of a think about you know, the series coming up will be nice, but it'll be good to have a little bit of time off now.
And the White Ferns now pick up the mantle with white ball cricket. They take up that on Friday here at Hagley. You guys go into that test arena, as you mentioned. The game keeps ticking over. How is your head as a captain and as a player at the moment?
Yeah, plenty on, yeah, and it's great to see that series starting as well. So plenty of cricket on for the fans. It's something to manage and keep balancing out just with the schedule and the nature of that. It's always something to look at and manage, really, and that's not just for me, but for a number of players. And so I guess as we just keep coming across more and more cricket, it's just making sure we assess it well.
Well, you get to put another trophy in the cabinet today, and I'd ask Ravi Shastri to present you with the Sterling Reserve Trophy. Congratulations on the one-day international series victory. Kane Williamson and the Black Caps.
तो बिल्कुल भारत ने ये श्रृंखला, एक दिवसीय श्रृंखला 1-0 से हार गए हैं। भारतीय टीम, टॉम लेथम मैन ऑफ द सीरीज। गुरशरण सिंह, कैसे देखते हैं आप टॉम लेथम के प्रदर्शन को? 145 रन, एक पारी, लेकिन एक पारी जो इस सीरीज को न्यूजीलैंड के हाथ दिलाता हुआ।
टॉम लेथम आई थिंक पिछले 8-10 साल से खेल रहे हैं इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेट। टेस्ट मैच में, वनडे में उनका प्रदर्शन तो बहुत अच्छा रहा है और बहुत ज़बरदस्त खिलाड़ी हैं। उन्होंने प्रूव भी करके दिखाया इस सीरीज़ में। और मुझे लग रहा है जो उन्होंने इनिंग खेली जो पहले वनडे में, और उसी से ये फ़र्क पड़ा जो कि 1-0 हुआ। बारिश आ गई, ठीक है, उसमें तो कोई कुछ कर नहीं सकता था। और ये वाले इस वनडे में भी न्यूजीलैंड का पलड़ा काफ़ी भारी था। तो बट स्टिल मैं मानता हूँ कि हमारी ये यंग टीम थी और न्यूजीलैंड की टीम T20 में, वनडे में भी उनकी जो बेस्ट 11 खेल रही थी, उनके साथ हमने T20 जीता। और वनडे में हमने ठीक है अच्छा फाइट दिया 325। तो मुझे लगता है कि इतनी इंडिया की परफॉर्मेंस इतनी ख़राब नहीं रही है इस सीरीज़ में।
जी। And Rakesh, we just heard Dhawan. He was talking about all the positive sections here, what they will be taking along with them.
Yeah.
So that was a point which was catchy here. He said that they have to learn on the bowling. He said
Yeah.
new
Where to
people
pitch
have-
the ball,
Yes.
which lengths to maintain. Yeah, that's true. See, when you're playing in Australia, when you're playing, here in the Kiwi land, I think that's where you got to remember the length. It's not the same as here, because if you pitch a little shorter, because you have to really pitch the ball up there. If you don't, that means cut and pull come into play big time. So, and here also we saw that the Indians, of course, they lack experience. Of course, there are a lot of people who tell them a lot of things. It's not that they are coming here for the first time. A lot of seniors would tell them. They have a complete unit. The support team is there. So a lot of things happen. Having said that, yes, he also realizes that the bowling unit
Yes.
needs to work on that. Young attack, fair enough. But again, as I said, both the series, be it the T20 or the 50-over game, 1.5 matches each. So the series gets decided out of 3, it is 1.5. So that means only 50% of the series was played. Out of which, to look for positives, the worst thing that I saw was that, despite losing the toss all 3 times, Indians could at least get to bat.
Yes.
And that was probably the thing that at least the openers had a good look in. Thereafter, of course, the bowlers, of course, this is not our best team.
Yes.
Best attack, available attack. But yes, they have a long way to go. So that's what, if this was a look into our reserves, this is nothing more than an A attack, barring a few names, of course. The regulars were all there. But barring that, yes, I mean, this is disappointing in the sense that they could have done better, but then at the same time, we got to be very fair to them because it rained.
Yes.
They are not used to these conditions. And guidance is also important. So whatever Lakshman could bring with his experience, that we could see. But yes, there's very little to go by actually. We don't have enough sample to go by. But yes, look at the way the Indians batted, and that was good enough.
बिल्कुल, यहाँ कॉलर्स का तांता लगा हुआ। कॉलर्स इंतजार कर रहे हैं बात करने के लिए एक्सपर्ट से। स्वागत है आपका, पूछिए अपना सवाल।
तो सर नमस्कार, ग्राम सिरसिंदा पोस्ट रारासी, जिला अयोध्या से मैं कपिल देव बात कर रहा हूँ।
हाँ कपिल जी, स्वागत है आपका, पूछिए अपना सवाल।
सर हमारे इंडिया में 2 दीप भी था, वो भी नहीं जला, और कुछ जो जल रहा था इंद्र देवता भी उसमें कुछ हरकत कर गए। और कहना ये चाहता हूँ, हमारे गुरु चरण जी से एक सवाल है। गुरु जी, हमारा ये सवाल सर शिखर धवन तक पहुँचा दीजिएगा। थोड़ा जब उनसे क्वेश्चन पूछा जाता है, जैसे कि इंडिया के कैप्टन से, थोड़ा हिंदी में भी डिस्कशन किया कीजिए सर।
नहीं, अब जैसे वहाँ न्यूजीलैंड में अगर मैच हो रहा है तो ऑब्वियसली वो अगर इंग्लिश में सवाल पूछेंगे तो उनको जवाब ऐसे ही देना पड़ेगा।
गुरशरण जी, यहाँ रोकना चाहूंगा, एक और कॉलर इंतजार कर रहे हैं। स्वागत है आपका, पूछिए अपना सवाल। स्वागत है, पूछिए।
अरविंद कुमार बात कर रहा हूँ।
अरविंद जी स्वागत है, पूछिए अपना सवाल।
सर आज बारिश हुई है, मुझे बहुत निराशा हुई।
अरे आपको ही नहीं, हम सबको निराशा हुई अरविंद जी इस मैच के इस तरह से बाधित होने से। Lekin Rakesh, New Zealand series, this was expected. Rain coming there in the early part of summer. Did Indians look at this series more purely from an exposure point of view for the players, or they had something bigger agenda in mind, keeping the 2023 World Cup that we host?
No, I think it's still too early. But then for players who want to stay in contention, this was an opportunity. How the selectors saw it is quite different. How the BCCI saw it could be different than what the individual players are thinking. For them, they don't know when they're going to be picked next. So for them, every player took it seriously. Now, you said whether this will be relevant enough. Everything will be forgotten once we move from here to Bangladesh, which starts on the 4th, 7th, and just see within 6-7 days we have 3 matches. So during those 3 matches, everything that you have done here will be forgotten, because the people's memory is so short. If you have new players performing there, then you won't even remember what happened here. You'll have to go back to the scorecard and try to search what happened here, because this will be forgotten quickly, because that will overlap everything else. So that's why I say that, because so much of cricket is happening in such quick succession, that it's very difficult to retain things. It's good for the players to carry that confidence from match A to B to C to D. But the relevance from both point of view is not the same as the players.
गुलशन, अब नेक्स्ट हमारे पास बांग्लादेश सीरीज आ रही है, तो उसमें हम लोगों की अप्रोच किस तरीके से रहनी चाहिए पूरी टीम की?
अप्रोच तो हमारी यही होनी चाहिए कि अपने आप में विश्वास रखें और कॉन्फिडेंस से खेलते रहें. और जैसे 50 ओवर्स है, मेरा हमेशा मानना है कि 50 ओवर में आपको छोटे छोटे पार्ट, 10-10 ओवर के जैसे 5 पार्ट हो गए, तो उस हिसाब से उसको अप्रोच करना चाहिए. अब बैटिंग कर रहे हो तो इनिशियल विकेट ज़्यादा लूज़ नहीं होनी चाहिए. और जैसे बॉलिंग की बात हो रही है कि बुमराह की सब कह रहे हैं कि बुमराह अभी नहीं है, तो कोई नहीं, बुमराह हमेशा नहीं रहेगा. हमें और भी जो बॉलर्स हैं, जैसे शिखर ने ही बोला कि ये दे विल लर्न, तो वो भी डेवलप होंगे और वो भी ऐसे बॉलर हम प्रोड्यूस करेंगे जो इंडिया को जिता सकेंगे.
Rakesh, 2 players, Washington Sundar. Before I take this question, we have callers waiting. Welcome to this program. Please go ahead, ask your question.
Hello.
Hello, स्वागत है.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. I am Rajkumari Meena speaking from Chittorgarh, Rajasthan, sir.
Welcome, Rajkumari ji. पूछिए सवाल.
Yes, sir. I don't want to ask any type of question, but sir, I want to give my best wishes and I want to encourage Indian team to by saying this little song, रुक जाना नहीं तू कहीं हार के, for Indian team, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
बहुत ज़बरदस्त.
जी, अगला कॉलर भी एक और ले लेते हैं अनिल. हेलो, नमस्कार. किन से बात कर रही हूँ मैं?
जी, मैं जमशेदपुर से मोहम्मद यासुद्दीन बोल रहा हूँ.
जी मोहम्मद जी, अपना सवाल पूछिए प्लीज.
जी, कमेंट्री तो अच्छी लग रही थी, मगर उसी पिच पर भारतीय टीम कितना नाकाज बैटिंग कर रही थी और उसी पिच पर न्यूजीलैंड कितना अच्छा बैटिंग करके दिखाया. मैं मैच सुनता हूँ, मुझे दिखाई नहीं देता आंखों से.
जी, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया कॉल करने के लिए.
Rakesh, when one looks at the performance of the two teams, there are going. That's why one-day cricket is so wonderful to watch. You're going to have one performance that matters, one performance that doesn't. People don't tend to remember. How would you look at the Indian team in terms of 2 players? Washington Sundar making a comeback, also Deepak Hooda now, reorienting himself as an all-rounder.
Okay, let's talk about Washington. I think Washington Sundar has made the most of this opportunity more than anything else. He's been struggling with injuries, his form, but then I think if there was one major takeaway in terms of an individual success, that has to be given to him. The way he batted, the way he approached it. About the second name which you took, Deepak Hooda. Now, Deepak Hooda, again, I think he has been left confused. Because if you keep him in the team and don't let him bowl, or you don't give him that kind of bowling, because that day Hardik gave it to him, and we suddenly saw that he got wickets. Okay? But the point is, let's define his role. We haven't defined his role at all. He bats and only bats. You don't expect him to bowl. Then why is he there? Then might as well have a better batsman than him. He's there because he can also bowl. Because we are now going through a phase where India lacks quality all-rounders. So let's address that issue also. So for that, I think Deepak Hooda didn't make the most of the opportunity, unlike Washington Sundar. But let's see how the think tank continues with it. Whether they really want him around or not. That we'll have to see. And I think in this race, at some point, Deepak Chahar is going to win the race. because I still feel that he bowls much better, as we all know, and he can bat a lot better than whatever little that we've got to see here.
गुलशन, उमरान मलिक के अलावा आप किसे देखते हैं कि हमारी इंडियन टीम में एक स्ट्रॉन्ग बॉलर है? क्योंकि इस समय सबसे ज़्यादा उभर के वही आए पूरी सीरीज में, उमरान मलिक। उनके अलावा आपको क्या लगता है कौन से ऐसे प्लेयर हैं?
मोहम्मद सिराज तो हैं ही, वो अच्छा, अर्शदीप है, फिर अभी कुलदीप सेन है कि जो एमपी के बॉलर हैं वो बांग्लादेश जा रहे हैं। तो यंगस्टर्स हैं काफ़ी जो कि मतलब
अच्छा
बेटर करते रहेंगे, जो अच्छा कर सकते हैं।
जी।
When Rakesh, when one looks at Indian team purely in terms of the middle order places are for grabs, looking at the 2023, the bigger picture, I would say, would you say that the way Shreyas is batted, Shreyas brings that same energy that Sky brings to T20 cricket? He is that Sky in one-day cricket for India.
Sky in one day would be a little too much, because you know why I'm saying that? Because the role that Sky has to play at number 5 and number 4, sorry, that is quite different, because he brings in that kind of that kind of a push momentum, because he doesn't stick around, he doesn't bat the way some of the top order batsmen bat. But in the case of Shreyas Iyer, in contrast, he brings solidity. Solidity in the sense he doesn't go slam bang. He knows his cricket. He loves this format, which allows him to use up a few balls to get set. He has his strokes. He knows his areas, his strong areas. That is what makes him different. So Sky is like suddenly you change gears. There's entertainment, there's thrill. That is the kind of element. But in case of Shreyas, it's not so. Shreyas means you can be sure that if he sticks around for a bit, at least from his end, the wicket is not going to fall in a hurry.
इसी के साथ हमारे साथ एक और कॉलर जुड़ चुके हैं, उनसे भी बातचीत करते हैं अनिल, और जानते हैं वो क्या कहना चाहते हैं। हेलो,
मैं बोल रहा हूँ वही वेंकट रेड्डी।
वेंकट जी, स्वागत है आपका।
थैंक यू। एक सीरीज हमने जीत लिया
जी,
दूसरी सीरीज न्यूजीलैंड ने जीत लिया।
हिसाब बराबर सर।
बारिश ने दोनों सीरीज को जीत लिया।
बहुत बहुत जबरदस्त, आपने सही कहा एकदम।
मेरा कहना ये है मोहम्मद शमी और सिराज को ज्यादा से ज्यादा मैचेस खिलाना चाहिए।
मैं इसका यही जवाब दूंगा कि मोहम्मद शमी इतने 10 साल से खेल रहे हैं और सिराज ने अभी 3-4 साल से इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेट शुरू की है, तो मोहम्मद शमी को काफ़ी मौके मिले हैं और उन्होंने अच्छा भी किया है। रेड बॉल टेस्ट क्रिकेट में बहुत ज़बरदस्त बॉलिंग करते रहे हैं, वनडे में भी अच्छी करते रहे हैं। तो मुझे लग रहा है कि अभी और बॉलरों को भी हम थोड़ा देखेंगे, उनको मौका देंगे तो वो थोड़ा सा बेटर रहेगा।
एक और कॉलर यहाँ इंतजार करता हुआ, स्वागत है आपका हमारे इस खास पेशकश में, पूछिए अपना सवाल।
नमस्कार सर।
नमस्कार।
मैं सगोरिया स्कूल घाटी, जिला मंदसौर, मध्य प्रदेश से बसंती लाल सूर्यवंशी बोल रहा हूँ सर।
बसंती लाल, स्वागत है, पूछिए।
जी सर, जैसे इंडिया लगभग सीरीज तो हारी गई वनडे मैच की, लेकिन टेस्ट में क्या परिवर्तन होगा या इसमें कब कितने तारीख से टेस्ट मैच चालू होगा?
आफ्टर द 10th।
पहले 3 एक दिवसीय मुकाबले हैं बांग्लादेश के दौरे में, उसके बाद टेस्ट मैच शुरू होंगे 10 तारीख के बाद, 10 दिसंबर के बाद। सो हमें भारत और बांग्लादेश के बीच में टेस्ट सीरीज देखने को मिलेगा। लेकिन
14 तारीख से
गुरचरण जी, अगर पूरे प्रदर्शन को देखें भारतीय टीम का, जिस तरह से इस सीरीज में भारत ने किया है, मतलब आप खुश है, अगर जिसे कहते हैं आप, यू हैप्पी विद द परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ द टीम, और वुड यू से रेन हैज प्लेड सो मेनी इंटरवेंशंस कि इट इज टू difficult to say that this series has been some kind of good for us in the one day?
मैं तो इतना उदास तो नहीं होऊंगा, तो मतलब इतनी ख़राब परफॉर्मेंस नहीं है जितना हम बना रहे हैं कि नहीं, कोई ये नहीं है कि हमारी ये बेस्ट 11 खेल रही थी दोनों फॉर्मेट्स में, और न्यूजीलैंड की बेस्ट 11 खेल रही थी T20 में भी, वनडे में भी। तो उसके हिसाब से काफ़ी अच्छे प्लेयर जिन्होंने अपनी, मुझे लग रहा है कि इसमें अच्छा किया है और आगे जाके उन्होंने अपनी प्लेस सीमेंट की है।
Right. And with this, we have seen New Zealand playing really strong. Whole team was strong enough, and they have started playing on a very positive note and making good amount of runs. So New Zealand has already been a winner right now. Yes. So what do you want to say about the New Zealand team here, performing in the whole series?
See, they were up against a weak Indian attack.
Yes.
Let's face it. It was not the best. So for them to stay at home and to come hard against the Indians, that was to be expected. But the way we won the first ODI, which was very impressive, 65 runs is a huge margin in a 20-over game. So that is where we impressed. Thereafter, the way they smashed us in the first game here by 7 wickets, that was massive. Latham's batting was like absolutely top notch. But again, the comparisons become a little lopsided when you see the fact that it is their best facing our second best.
Yes.
So that is where you need to give it some kind of a margin there. But overall, I think New Zealand was a favorite to win both, and they almost won both because we managed to hold on to that series. If we had scored 1 run less, that would have been a tie there. So, but at least there we won the series. And here, of course, in the ODIs, we didn't stand a chance because they were superior to us.
राइट एंड अनिल तब भी एक अच्छी सीरीज हमें देखने को मिली, एक बहुत अच्छे मैचेस हम लोगों ने देखे. ऐसा नहीं कह सकते कि भारत हार गया. मुझे लगता है एक फेयर अमाउंट से बहुत मेहनत करी उन्होंने और उससे हम लोगों ने देखा भी फील्ड पे.
Well, exactly. This particular series will be memorable for many things. India won the T20, New Zealand won the one-day series. Rain was there everywhere across the series, but a good performance there between bat and ball. Hardik Pandya leading the team to glory. Shikhar Dhawan not being able to, but good surprise packages that we won all across the series. Thank you both gentlemen for coming here, joining us, giving your inputs, giving your insights about the game. It's time for me and Damini to say goodbye. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye. Take care.
थैंक यू.
अभी आप हेगले ओवल क्राइस्ट चर्च से भारत और न्यूजीलैंड के बीच खेले गए तीसरे एक दिवसीय अंतर्राष्ट्रीय क्रिकेट मैच पर विशेष कार्यक्रम सुन रहे थे.
You have been listening to our special program on the third one-day international cricket match played between India and New Zealand at the Hagley Oval, Christchurch. This broadcast came to you from the Delhi station of All India Radio.